With all the success the Jets are finding themselves in this season, being an absolute powerhouse team, dominating the NHL standings, they find themselves in pretty much every breaking news headline when it comes to trade rumors, signings, play interviews, standing breakdowns, game breakdowns, whatever. The Jets are just everywhere, it seems like, right now. And for good reason. They're a great team. And recently, their GM, Kevin Cheveldayoff, he sat down with Mike McIntyre and Murat Yates, and he gave like a 65-minute interview, where he was asked a plethora of questions about, going forward into the trade deadline, free agency, upcoming UFAs and RFAs, a lot about Logan Stanley and a bunch of other stuff as well. And I figured why not talk about it, because there's a lot of interesting stuff here. And the first thing I want to unpack is something I find pretty interesting. We talked about this, a couple of weeks ago, but it is real. Jonathan Toews and the Winnipeg Jets are definitely tied together right now. If Jonathan Toews makes a return, the Jets are definitely leading the pack, I think, in signing him. They want to be involved in signing him. They hope that they have a chance of bringing him back. Chevy's already admitted that, they've talked and whatnot, and if Toews is a serious hockey player, pretty much, and if he's going to be coming back, he's being serious about it, so the Jets are taking it serious, and they are definitely looking at it as a possibility. And, when you look at, obviously, the career of Jonathan Toews is legendary, don't get me wrong. His last couple of years there before the COVID lockout, he was definitely slowing down with age, and then obviously with his health concerns and whatnot, it definitely stalled the later parts of his career, and he wasn't really able to, be that dominant presence that he was. And because then not playing for so long, who knows what he's going to bring. Like, obviously, as a fan of hockey, I would love Jonathan Toews on the Winnipeg Jets. Like, this is a top 100 player all time for the NHL. Like, this is a fantastic player. This is a 3-time Stanley Cup champion. He's been on Canada twice, 2 gold medals for Canada. Like, an absolute powerhouse, one of the best hockey players in my lifetime that I've seen in the NHL. A Winnipeg boy as well. He's donated so much money to youth hockey over the years, been a big being involved in so much stuff in the city. Like, we've talked about this before. So I think that if Toews does come back and this is a chance, I like the Jets are involved. He's an amazing player for a reason, and in a bottom 6 role, 4th line center, why not sign a guy like that? And again, they talked a lot about Logan Stanley, like I mentioned in this interview as well, and for good reason. Stanley, I don't want to talk too much about Stanley. I don't want to spend this whole video going through all the Stanley questions. As you can see, obviously, we talked about Arneal's usage with Stanley. How just everything about his usage, and just the fact that Stanley is on this team consistently, and he's, taking guys out of the lineup. And Chevy defended it. He defended Stanley at every turn. He defended Arneal at every turn. He believes in his development and whatnot. He said everything that you would expect to hear a GM say when it comes to defending their players. Absolutely no real criticism there. And absolutely on the defensive side for the Jets GM when it came to defending their worst player. And obviously this is what you expect. I don't think Kevin Cheveldayoff is just going to come out here and be like, yep, Scott Arneal's an absolute buffoon. I'm going to toss him under the bus, even though he's having an incredible first year because he's playing Logan Stanley and it has nothing to do with me. Like, obviously there's something going on between the coach and the system, Chevy and whatnot. I don't know what it is. They're not going to share it. They don't need to share it. But it's still nonetheless affecting this team. Logan Stanley is not a good player. We know that at this point. It's proven. I don't even know how many videos at this point about Logan Stanley over his career with the Jets, and about his usage, and then as well for him to go on and compare, the Villahinola injuries and Stanley's injuries and his usage in the playoffs in Edmonton. Like, let's not forget about his real usage. Like, Villahinola was completely scrapped that year on the taxi squad, never got to play on the Moose or the Jets, and Logan Stanley was a bum, played super sheltered minutes, and then when he scored those 2 goals in garbage time in an elimination game where the Jets got swept in the second round against the Habs, like, I don't care. So to say that about Stanley's development, especially when you've passed on Kovacevic and Declan Chisholm, like we've talked about in the past, and just the whole experience with Logan Stanley in the lineup and taking out Miller and taking out even Fleury at times and keeping Hinola out. Like, it's just we've talked about this so much already, and obviously Chevy's going to defend it. I didn't expect to hear Chevy be like, yep, I don't understand what's going on here. I hate Arneal for doing this. We're going to have a lot of conversation. Obviously the GM's going to defend his coach, but it's still, nonetheless, this is still a huge conversation within the fandom because he is not a Norris winner, never will be a Norris winner. He's one of the worst defensemen in the the NHL, and at some point we're going to have to look at upgrading that, and that is exactly what, the leading questions went into after that was, can we expect, the Winnipeg Jets to be aggressive going into the trade deadline? And by all accounts, it seems like the Jets will be aggressive. To be fair, last year they were very aggressive as well. Sean Monahan was a very big get. Tyler Toffoli was a very, very big get, as well as getting Colin Miller for a depth offensive move as well. Those are 3 impact players that you get at the trade deadline. Obviously, Monahan was about a month before the deadline, but still, making big trades like that, going all in. The Jets have done this before. They're known for it, I think, at this point, at being in the 2C market every trade deadline. It seems like going back, even to when they acquired Paul Stastny 2017-18. Every year after that, they've been looking at the 2C spot. So, the Jets are always going out there and making moves, it seems like, come trade deadline. And I'm not surprised about this. We've also talked about D-man targets in the past already, in past videos, about, guys like Rasmus Ristolainen, Lindgren maybe from New York as well, stuff like that. And I really expect Chevy to be involved in a physical kind of, number 4 defenseman like that. I think that's exactly what he's looking for. I really do think it is Ristolainen, and I'm going to talk about that in a video tomorrow, pretty much about why I'm not still sold on that idea, because Rasmus Ristolainen is not the guy I want going forward, but nonetheless, I expect the Jets to make a lot of moves. It definitely seems like Chevy's going that way again and going all in. They also talked about Nikolai Ehlers' upcoming unrestricted free agency, and let's be real, at this point, I don't really expect Nikolai Ehlers to sign here. He's my favorite player on the team and has been for years. His career has been awesome. I've loved watching him grow into the player he is. He's super underrated, and he's an absolute beast out there. But nonetheless, the way things have been going on that front, for over a year, I just don't see those contracts being signed. Maybe a sign and trade in the offseason, so he leaves on good terms with the club and they get an asset back for him. But nonetheless, I don't think Ehlers is going to be signing here. So, I don't think we should be really focusing on that right now. I think we should be focusing on the season that's here right now and going all in, because this Jets team is fantastic. And honestly, at this point, what I got out of this 65 minutes was that, Chevy believes in his coach. He's going to defend his coach. He wants to steer away any criticism, about the lineup because they're winning. And I get that. Why wouldn't you? Nonetheless, though, I think the big things to take away from this is that the Jets are looking to go all in and add talent. Jonathan Toews, if he's available, the Jets are going to go in and try to sign him. If there's players available, in the deadline situation that could help this team on defense, on the forward side, the Jets are going to go in and pursue that. That's pretty much the vibe I got from Chevy in this interview, and that excites me. It's a good time to be a Jets fan. We're not, top of the standings, looking to compete and go all in for that cup. You got to absolutely love it. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think the Jets should do, and what your thoughts were on that interview with Kevin Cheveldayoff and some of those responses to those questions. Peace, love, and positivity as always. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Check out all the other affiliate links down in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. Go Jets go, and I'll see y'all in the next one.